Jai Hind everyone, module number 11.3 under the planning reasons part 2. Today we are going to discuss about the regionalization of India proposed by the L.S. Bhat. Under this module, the expected learning outcomes are here. Learners will be able to comprehend the macro divisions of the India which is proposed by L.S. Bhat, whereas they will able to identify the regional planning of South India as a case study. So before going through the divisions of the India given by the L.S. Bhat, we would like to see a very brief introduction of the L.S. Bhat. L.S. Bhat, who was the professor, full name was Lakshmi Narayan Sanna Bhat, was a prominent Indian geographer and a key figure in the field of regional planning in India. He is known for his work in delineating India's planning region and for his association with the Planning Commission of India. As for contribution and career is here, regional planning, he was the professor of that. Along with VLS Prakasa Rao, he noted for a systematic and quantitative approach to dividing India into different planning regions using maps for natural resource distribution. Their framework included 11 major and 51 minor regions intended for the balanced resource development. If you talk about the academic role, he served as a professor of geography and regional planning at the Indian Statistical Institute, New Delhi. He was instrumental in the formulating and implementing research and training programs related to regional planning in the various universities. Association with the Planning Commission. From 1961 to 74, he was associated with the Planning Commission, working on the regional perspective in national planning, regional disparities, and the evaluation of the resources. Publication. He authored a large number of the publication in regional planning and related fields, including the book Regional Planning in India. He also edited Geography in India, selected theme as an ICSSR survey of research on the subject. Regarding the recognition, in recognition of his significant contributions, the Indian Council of Social Science Research awarded him a prestigious national fellowship to work on spatial perspective in decentralized planning. He was also a founder member of General Secretary of the National Association of the Geographers India. Beside that, what the introduction has been taken, it was arbitrary address was written by the K.M. Kulkarni in the Transaction Journal. As according to him, what is the regional planning? He was telling like regional planning is a deliberate and organized process of development of a region or regions, which in its course brings out the development potentialities of each region and taking into consideration the limitations of both human and material resources within each region. Suggest strategies for their development so that the nation as a whole can attain a higher level of economic well-being. Different regions of country are differently endowed in respect of factored endowments. They also differ in respect of infrastructural facilities. There are also differences in the wants, felt needs, desires, and aspirations of the inhabitants. The national plan prepared in the capital may not be suited to the factor endowments of the different regions and may not be able to fulfill the aspirations of the people. The regional authorities are therefore given the authority to frame the plan for the development of their region in the context of availability of resources in their respective regions, their problems, and the aspirations and ambitions of the people in the regions. So the book which we have seen mentioned earlier also, that book was Regional Planning in India, and it was published by the Indian Journal of Statistics, Sankhya. So series B is there and it is having the page 391 to 546 where he has explained entire things under the 5 part. The chapter 1 was that discussing about the spatial dimension in national and regional planning, where part 1 is focusing that regional approaches to planning. Part 2 where the chapter 3 was discussing their macro regional planning of the South India. Part 3 chapter 4 is focusing regional approach to planning at the state level, where he has mentioned in detail account of the Mysore state. Under the part 4, chapter 5, Western Ghat region of Mysore state has been taken a study in land use potential, and the part 5 is discussed about the summary and conclusion, where he has taken the indicators of the economic, with the help of indicators of the economic development. The criteria used by the LS Bhat for the classification of the entire India, we can see here, they are relief and climate, soil and land use, agricultural productivity, mineral and energy resources, industrial development, transport network, population density, and the urban center. So with the help of this book, we are going to discuss the entire planning reasons. So here, following the, you can say the strata or classification and getting the reasons through seeing from the national to district and the blocks, in that he is able to find the macro region should follow the administrative boundary of the state, whereas and finding the reasons of that subdivision of that is meso region, could follow the block level and the district level identification of the area. So following the framework of the regional development in the context of national planning in India, he has classified the division in terms of the local level, micro regions, meso regions, and macro regions. So major 2 group he has taken for the further classification, where size of subnational area in terms of the administrative hierarchy should be followed. For example, if you are taking the macro region, group of linguistic states such as South India with Mysore state, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, formerly known as the Madras state, and the Andhra Pradesh, where if you are talking about the meso regions in terms of the regional group, then state with the interstate regions identify on the basis of groups of district, or it may be development blocks or tehsil. And once we are talking about the micro region can be a district, a tehsil, a development block, which is comprising the number of villages. And if we talk about the local level, then it is the talking about a village, a town. So both way, the 2-way process where there, aggregation as well as the degradation under his proposal, and physical as well as economic plan he has linked for the explanation of the classification. So characteristic of the Bhat's regional scheme could be here, regarding the macro level regionalization, the regions having the characteristic dynamic, flexible and planning oriented, and beside that boundary can change with the development, as he advocated that also. Focus on regional development norms and the region delimited by scientific principle, which are going to broadly indicates the inherent limitations imposed by the physical factors, the region norms for development in prospective planning, whereas the regional sectoral allocation of financial resources and the regional breakdown of the national targets and estimates should be there. The course of regional economic development and rational choice in priorities for the development of different regions will vary from one place to another. Beforehand, in 1964, what we are going to see with the help of that book, which is published in 1970, but beforehand in 1964, L.S. Bhat and V.L.S. Prakasa Rao proposed a regional framework for resource development. Delineation was done with the help of the distribution of important natural resources map, and the major region cut across the state boundaries. However, the administrative convenience was not ignored, and the scheme has categorized 7 major and 51 minor regions. And the major regions of according to both of them were South India, Western India, Eastern Central India, Northeast India, Middle Ganga Plain, Northern Western India, and the Northern India, as the part is we have seen in a number of the planning regions. But as in 1970, silent feature of the proposed planning which is there, and it was divided almost 11 category. West Coast region, Western Ghat, which is covering the humid forested hills, Central Plateau, that is covering semi-arid black soil region, Eastern Ghat, which is belonging from the forested hilly areas of the Eastern Ghat, East Coast, that is talking about the coastal plains and foothills, and the climatic condition is talking subhumid, Northeastern Plateau region, the Ganga Plain region, Assam, Gujarat, Rajasthan, which is covering both arid and semi-arid northwestern part of India, and the 11th one is Kashmir and the northern hilly areas. So let's see one by one what were the proposed region, whatever the silent features were there for the proposed region. The first one was West Coast region. This region comprises the per humid coastal plains and the foothills zone. So what is talking about? They are basically prominent for the paddy coconut cultivation in the coastal plains, paddy and spices in the foothill areas, particularly in the central coastal region, and the plantations in the foothill areas of the Kerala are the salient feature of the land use, which indicate the possibilities of the regional specialization. Where if you talk about the economic development of this region is intimately linked with the coastal forest fisheries, intensive development of agriculture in the coastal plains through tank irrigation and the allied industries, and the development of pasture, grazing, livestock rearing, horticulture and the forestry in the interior part of this region. If we are seeing the second one, that is the Western Ghat, where the climate condition is humid forested hills. This region basically a region of potential resources, mainly forestry. Mineral is also prominent like bauxite, iron ore, manganese and hydroelectric power is there. Economic development of this region is dependent on the industries based on the forestry, may lumbering, paper or match industry, and the mineral resources are there also. Agriculture, particularly cereal farming, is secondary. Cash crops like spices, coffee, and rubber are better suited to the region as per the physical condition is giving opportunity for that. Central Plateau, semi-arid black soil region. This region has potentialities of the achieving a diversified crop economy through intensive cultivation of cotton, groundnut, wheat, jowar, bajra, and sugarcane and tobacco. Further, the development plans should emphasize intensive agriculture through small irrigation project, agricultural industries, textile, oil extraction, sugar production, and tobacco processing. Hilly areas should be devoted mainly to the afforestation for soil conservation, grazing, livestock rearing, and the quarrying purpose. Whereas the another region, that is the Eastern Ghat, that is the forested hill, this region has the potential resources, forestry, major or minor forest product, mineral could be iron, mica, manganese, graphite are important there. Tourism, including the pilgrimage centers, are the basis for the regional development of this area. Agriculture is secondary, but for localized tropical and temperate fruit culture could be very prominent. East coast, subhumid coastal plains and the foothills area of this region. As in the west coast region, coastal plain could be specialized in the agriculture, cereals and commercial. Foothills area of the better suited for the pasture, rotational grazing, tree crops, animal husbandry and woodlands for the soil conservation and fuel. The delta have potentialities for the development of diversified agriculture economy with emphasis on cultivation of food and cash crops. It could be paddy, sugarcane, oil seeds and associated industries, tobacco in the inner plains area. Northeastern Plateau, a distinct reason for the resource development based on the forestry and minerals. It is perhaps the only region with a large area and concentration of the forest and minerals. Physiographically, this region comprises the humid and dry deciduous forest, hills and valleys, with the Chhattisgarh plain area as the only wide agricultural tract devoted to the irrigated paddy cultivation. Regional development is dependent mainly on the forestry and mineral-based industries of iron ore, coal, manganese, graphite and variety of associated industries using byproducts. Different related development in this region have to be integrated. The Ganga Plain, one of the major undisputed natural regions of India with a strong agricultural base, diversified cropping patterns and regional development through agro-industries would be the basis for the future development. This region where perhaps future agriculture policies should be directed toward mixed farming with the multiple cropping throughout the year where water resources and topography permit. There is also scope for the development of seasonal fodder crops in this region. Moving to the Assam, this is physical and even political consideration make this region unique. It is a region of vast resource potential with forest and minerals, notably oil. This region has biggest bamboo reserves, contributing nearly 42% of India's total output. Minerals like coal, petroleum, limestone, and associated industries are important in the regional development. In the agriculture sector, like jute, tea, paddy are the important crops. Soil conservation claims priority in this physical setting. Moving to the Gujarat, The Gujarat plains are better suited to specialization in agriculture and allied industries, notably textiles. Further, industrialization is in progress with the discovery of oil, mainly oil refineries, petrochemicals, and allied industries. Development norms and problems of the Saurashtra and Kutch are mainly afforestation, development of pastures, livestock rearing, dairying, and land reclamation. Locally, there are areas livestock rearing as in the Bunny lands of Kutch, which holds a great promise for intensive development. The northern highlands of Gujarat are comparatively drier and are mainly agriculture, with cotton being the main crop. Agricultural planning is mostly related to anti-famine measures. Rajasthan, covering both arid semi-arid of the northern western part of India. Western Rajasthan comprises comparatively arid sandy waste with a little natural vegetation of only stunt thorny and open scrubs, while eastern Rajasthan is rocky and has also fertile lands in the western Rajasthan in comparison to comprises arid sandy waste and little natural vegetation. It is talking about the eastern Rajasthan is comparatively having the rocky but also having the fertile lands in the valley regions. The future economy of Rajasthan is mainly dependent on the development of pastures and afforestation, mainly for the soil conservation. Livestock rearing, rural industries like blanket weaving, cloth printing, carpets, stonewares are important for the in this local economy. Mineral-based industries and agriculture, wheat and other millets should form the main development program of the eastern Rajasthan. Whereas moving to the Kashmir and northern hilly regions, the northernmost part, this region stands out by contrast with the neighbors in respect of the physio-agronomic condition, though there is a much diversity within its boundaries. So basically, it was the result of the group of federating states. Example, he has used the term South India, Western India, Eastern Central, Northern Eastern, Middle Ganga, Northwestern India, Northern India, we have seen, and the way he has grouped the states and part of the state comprising the regions in that way. We may see from the book also, it is given very in detailed manner. Uttar Pradesh except the hilly region in the Middle Ganga plain, when he using the term northern western India, Rajasthan, parts of Punjab. And once he is using this, he has taken the extensive discussion of the South India. In that, these are the few example of the map work, which is talking about the macro regional planning of South India as a case study. So you can find it out there. Either it could be population distribution in terms of the class 1, 2, 3, 4 cities, or you can see that it is related to the mineral distribution, or overall if we are going to see the regional pattern of industrial development and resource potential of the entire South India, the way he has plotted the maps. We can conclude here, L.S. Bhat has delineated planning regions with the help of qualitative as well as quantitative maps of the distribution of important natural resources. The major region cut across the state boundaries. However, administrative convenience was not ignored. The scheme includes 7 major and 51 minor regions. Simultaneously, he highlighted the over-reliance on the administrative units and weak spatial analysis. Suggestions have been given accordingly and recommendation for the aggregating the sectoral plan. He advocated that regional planning is essential for balance as it bridges space and development. For effective implementation, each administrative unit must adapt to the regions. In this context, Bhatt's model remains relevant for the India's planning from past to present. Thank you very much. These are the references taken from online sources. Thank you very much.